Hello and welcome back. So yeah, as you may recall, she died in the last episode, which is a bit unfortunate. But it doesn't matter. Looking at this spell then, and I was looking at it, and I sort of said, when we're looking at the X direction, I was looking in the positive X direction, and everything seemed to work out pretty well actually. If I just go into the let's just look this way. So yeah, so you will recall that when I looked at when I was looking, I suppose I'm looking down, but it's not taking into any account my look, right? So, yeah. I'll put that one down there. Let's try it all the time. So yeah, so it's very dependent on which way you're looking. Which is interesting because it's not actually. So it's basically just taking positions from. So what this tells me, anyway, is it's just taking everything from the actual position of the focal point, and then subtracting and adding. And that's kind of the way that I can kind of see how that works quite nicely, because it's just taking the actual position of the entity, of the focal point. Everything is coming from here. Which is interesting because the target here, yeah, this is kind of hard to understand there in a way. Because the target is simply 5 different on the X. So what exactly is going on here? This is interesting. It's going to divide by B. Wow. This is an interesting one. Let's look at the -1. The -1 is probably a good one to look at first. So yeah, so by doing that, obviously the level I'm standing at now is here. So the -1 means it's going to break. Let me just check exactly which one it is breaking. I think it's just breaking the one directly below me. That's what it looks like. I don't know where to go now. Let's just break down this thing a bit. And it's not affected by what level I'm standing at, is it? If I look here, let's have a look. Okay, so it is affected by it. But when I was looking here, it takes the y coordinate of this. What do you think about this? So when I look at this block, there's nothing there really, is there? When I look at, say, this block here, you can see it's going 1 below. So it constantly goes 1 below the block you're looking at. Except when you're looking down. That is weird. Because you see, when I look down, it just does that block, doesn't it? Now, so I'm looking at the top face of this block here. But when I look at this block, I look at the side face. And you can see that it's actually the underneath block. This is an interesting thing, because another thing that you may have noticed there is that is it not a magnet thing? Oh, what these things are used for? Oh, can I use this? There we go. So yeah, what I was saying is, when I look here, when you look at the side of a block, the actual Loopcast graphic appears right in the middle, and then it does one block below. But when I was looking down, I believe he sits directly on top of it. So that's an interesting fact. If you want to get below, you look down. And if you want to, and it goes one below, and it's to do with the location, isn't it, of where the actual the thing appears, where the loop thing actually appears. Is there no way to? Can I wonder if I can. Is there? No. Isn't there a shift delete thing? All right. So yeah, so that's an interesting fact with this circle spell. I do really like this spell, actually. I think it's very, very interesting. So what coordinates could it possibly be getting? Well, certainly when I look in the X direction, it seems to be where the spell is at its best. So it's going to be, if I'm at 0, 0, the corners are going to be -5. Yeah, because I like it because it's a two-dimensional thing. The corners will be at -5, -5. So that'll be the top left-hand corner, wouldn't it? If we look at, well, let's just go anti-clockwise. It'll be easier actually, won't it? So the corners will be 5, 5, and then it'll be, so we'll just go clockwise in a normal unit circle style. So we're going to start at 5, 5, and then we're going to go to -5, 5, and we're going to go to -5, -5. And then we're going to go to 5, -5. So yeah, that's interesting as well. Let's look. Let's just do a couple more actually. Can we do a couple more? I don't know. I feel like that was pretty intense, and it's still an interesting thing. I think though. That is what it's getting at. The question is though, how is it managing to get so many? How is it managing to get so much information out of it? That's what I find really interesting. Because it's being told to break every single one of those blocks. So the Loopcast is somehow getting. It's somehow getting like. I mean, it's breaking like 10 by 10. It's breaking like 100 blocks each time. That's a lot of blocks, and every single stroke it's defining one. Wow. And all it has is the position of 0, 0, and then it can do everything else. This is what I like, because there's none of this sort of. I'm not confused about the entity look. So it should not be too difficult to understand. Alright, so let's look at the first Loopcast index, 0. It starts at 0, doesn't it? So then we'll do 0 divided by 10 is 0. So So let's look at what the Z coordinate will be here. Even though in a sense the X coordinate is probably more important. Well, they're both important, really. In the first pass, though, so the very first number that we're going to have to do. So what's it adding, first of all? All it's adding. So in a sense, this it's just getting the position to know where to start. Yeah, alright, so we've got the position to know where to start. Okay, that's good. Then, what I'm going to do... Actually, you know what? I'm just going to save this for the next episode, because I really want to just talk about this in a separate episode. So I'll be back in the next episode.